Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the newest episode of the Theater Enthusiast podcast. I am so delighted to welcome our next guests. They are the co-creators of a off-Broadway show. They are the choreographer, co-directors. I would say like composer, co-composer, right?
Mhm.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
of original music of this
Yeah.
off-Broadway show, currently playing at the Duke Theater from now until August 29th. The show is Labelless. I'm very excited to welcome Lea and Drew Lachey. What?
Woo,
Welcome.
woo, woo, woo.
Woo!
How's it going?
It's good. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Like I mentioned to you guys earlier, I'm so like it's kind of serendipitous how this all just happened so quickly. Also, quick shout out to Debbie for making this
Debbie
happen.
Hill, we love Debbie
Yeah.
Hill.
Oh,
Yes.
she
Yeah.
adores both of you.
Oh,
Like
well, we adore
adores you.
her.
Yeah, when I met her, she's like, "Oh my God, they're the nicest people. You have to have them on your podcast." And she kept like telling me during like our meetings of the happenings. It was very cute, and she's
I love
delightful.
that.
Yes.
Love
So
that. It was meant to be. It
it
was
was
meant to be.
Kismet. Yes, it
Yeah.
was Kismet. So thank you guys for coming on. So I always start the podcast with, "Where are you guys from?"
Cincinnati, Ohio, born and bred, both of us.
Yeah.
But we left at 18.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, we left at 18. We, kind of tried to blaze our own trails,
yeah,
and then New York and LA, and then we ended up back in Cincinnati, Ohio again once we,
it sucked us back
started a
in.
family, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you
So,
guys ever see the Drew Barrymore Babes in Toyland?
no.
No.
Because they have a song where they sing, I come from CINC, and they sing Cincinnati. And it also
Yeah,
has Keanu Reeves in the movie.
How have I not?
I don't know. We'll have to see. Now we're gonna have to go
Now we have
do
something
a
to do
YouTube
later
search, and
tonight.
yeah.
That's what
Yes.
we'll be doing.
Every time I hear Cincinnati, I always think of that song and because in that movie.
I feel kind of lame that I don't know that. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
I feel like it's really niche, and I don't know, maybe it's like hidden in their IMDb's somewhere. It's like a 1980s movie. Again,
Okay,
Drew Barrymore, Keanu Reeves. There's a blizzard. It's Christmas. She gets
I
like
get it.
in Toyland. It's
Is
wild.
it? It's like Jesus,
It's wild.
Jesus, take the wheel. The Carrie Underwood song,
Yeah, you know what?
driving to
Probably
Cincinnati,
because
and
they're
yeah,
driving in a car while they're singing it, and someone
yeah,
did take the wheel.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
there you
Okay.
go. Yeah.
Well,
So, sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, we grew up in Cincinnati, and that's kind of where we got our introduction to the arts. We both
hmm
went to a performing arts school there,
Mhm.
public school that
hmm
you audition to and to go to, and then from there, Leah, got a dance scholarship to bring her to New York,
hmm
Oh,
and
we'll just
then
like
I
flop
mean,
my
no
ponytail. No
biggie.
big.
No
again,
biggie.
it's probably helpful to know we've been together since we were 16,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
like
Known each other since we were 10. Ugh.
yeah,
Yeah.
so.
It's crazy.
That's just that's neither here nor there. It's just good information
Just
for the
info.
backstory.
Just info.
Yeah.
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 So she moved here at 18, and then
And then he
being
followed me.
being the
Fair.
romantic guy that I am, I followed her to the big city.
Mhm.
And then from there, our arts careers kicked off.
But I'm going to interject because a
Yeah.
fun fact, Drew was a paramedic in New York City. I
Yes, I read
don't,
about that.
you read about it? Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So he got that job like as soon as he got here, pretty
Wow.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was driving the ambulance, no big deal. And then like the call came and then he joined a boy band.
Yeah.
And here we
Jack of,
are.
he's a jack of all trades. Look at
Jack of all
you.
Yes,
trades.
that's what some people call me,
Yeah.
among other things.
Yeah. So like when you were ever in the musical Rent, were you just like, with my medical background, I can probably like save Mimi's life right now?
I not in that show. That didn't cross my mind.
On stage, that didn't cross your
Yes.
mind?
Will you light my candle? Well, we shouldn't have
Hold
open
on.
flames here because it's
Yeah.
dangerous. Someone could get burned.
Yeah. Make
No,
sure you
I
take
think
your
for me,
AZT,
yeah. Honestly, I did do a lot of patient transport for different things. But no, I think for me, like growing up, I never thought I'm gonna pursue the arts like as a career. I was like, oh, it's something I enjoy doing now. It's where all my friends go to school, and then that was kind of what it was. And then I
And
was like,
then
all right, I'm gonna go into emergency medicine. I'm gonna do search and rescue. I'm gonna do all these things. And then
Not me. That was not my story. This
no.
is what I always wanted to
So
do.
Leah, hold on. Drew, take a moment. Leah, tell me
Okay.
about what your backstory is with
What's all
choreography.
about you?
So
Yeah, let's talk
I
about
love
you.
talking about myself. So from little on, I was the little girl with my parents' record collection in the living room, inviting the family in to watch show after show after show. And then I auditioned for the School for Creative and Performing Arts in Cincinnati, and like Drew said, public school. There's no way that I would be where I am today without that training. I mean, my family could not afford that, and so it was all day, every day dance, vocal music, acting. So I had the bug from little on.
Mhm.
Um, and then I auditioned for colleges and got into NYU and Marymount Manhattan, and Marymount Manhattan gave me a full ride. And so that was a no brainer. And then I got here and did not follow the rules and auditioned for Radio City after a month of being here. And then I got the job. So it was kind of I am kind of one of those people. I'm a huge dreamer. I'm a jumper. I'm a like let's go, right?
Yeah.
Like train, be ready for the moment.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, different from Drew. Drew was like didn't really see the arts as a path, and it's kind of funny now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like what?
Yeah.
Um yeah, but like being back in New York this summer with Labelist is I feel like I'm living in a dream.
Yeah.
This has always been a dream.
Well, I think also like New York right now, especially like the last few weeks with it being like Pride
Oh,
Month and then Nixon 5 and
yeah.
just like the energy of the city, it's kind of just like a really great time to be here. And I just
Yes.
love the vibe and the feel of New York when it's like that.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I
Me
think
too.
anytime it's there, there's something celebratory going on, the World Cup and all that.
Oh yeah, and
There's
the World
lots of
Cup, yeah.
energy going on right now.
Yeah.
I keep warning our teenage son who's here with us as well. I'm like, look, don't think that this is going to stay this way all summer. I mean, it's going to get to be August, and it's going to be 90 plus degrees out, and you're going to be walking down the street, and you're going to smell all sorts of smells that you don't smell
Yeah.
Anywhere
anywhere else.
else?
Yeah. I smelled that on my way home yesterday from work and it wasn't even that hot out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Nasty.
Which is another thing. Like you smell those things, you're like, oh, this takes me back to being 18.
It
Oh, the
does,
Driving
smells of
yeah.
the
that
city.
ambulance. How is it like driving an ambulance in New York? Let's talk about that.
Um,
I feel like
well,
that's more interesting. No offense,
Yeah.
Leah,
No,
because with
I
the
I agree.
traffic,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, we did. So I worked for a private company that was Metropolitan, and then it went to Metro Care, and I don't know if it's still around, but so I didn't do 911 calls. I did mostly like medical emergencies, heart attack, strokes, broken hips, things like that. So then, we had our lights and sirens, and it was all five boroughs. So I got to see the ins and outs of the city in a way that I never imagined. Like we would
It's
take
colorful.
different patients up, 6-story walk-ups in the projects in the Bronx, and then I'm like, oh, okay, this wasn't a part of New York that I knew even existed. So it definitely gave me a better appreciation for everything that the city has to offer, and for better for worse. So it's one of those moments that kind of really helped shape who I am as a human being.
Yeah. Do you think that has helped with performance and all of that, just shaping who you are? I mean, not to be like cliche New York, because I mean, you've had a very big life leading up to where you guys are now, but do you think the fundamentals of at least being in New York has helped kind of build to where you are now, especially with Labelists and the young people who you are
Mhm.
working with?
Absolutely. I said to Drew the other night that I feel like because of the life that we've led so far,
Mhm.
we are really able to lead and help navigate. I mean, the show is one thing, but we care so much about this cast. They are family. And so it's like you want to be able to share those stories and
Mhm.
those things that you've gone through so that hopefully they can make better decisions. I think there's nothing like New York. I think, the cliche, it toughens you up and it makes you stronger, but it does. And
Mhm.
it makes you, I think, be more direct and specific in what you want in your life. And I think that is a game changer.
Yeah, I think for us, a lot of the life experiences we've had, definitely have led us to this moment.
Mhm.
if you take one
Yeah.
variable out of our lives, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have moved back to Cincinnati. We wouldn't have started our nonprofit. This show wouldn't have been created. So I do feel like, for better or for worse, everything that we went through, the successes, the failures, all those things have led us to exactly this moment.
Yeah.
And I do think that, having an appreciation for life and, people of different backgrounds and walks of lives, it definitely
Yeah.
impacted who we are as people and as now as directors and creators. Yeah.
Yeah. So Lee, I want to talk a little bit more with you. While you were at Marymount and you got the Radio City job, was it like Rockette or was it just like featured in the Christmas Spectacular?
So wasn't tall enough to be a rockette. So I was in the ensemble, but then I want to say it was maybe 3 years in ish. I don't know, so long ago. I was the assistant choreographer
Mm,
with Linda Haberman, which was like, I look at that now and I'm like, that was a game changer moment.
yeah.
That was opened my eyes to choreography and directing and all of those things. So, and just like Drew said, it's like every step along the way is impactful and changes you as a human.
Mm,
And from there, I moved into the pop world. That was always something that intrigued me and interested me. I love where I am right now. I
yeah.
love dancing. Dancing, filled my soul, but directing and choreographing is like where it's at for me. Like
Yeah.
I've gotten this question a lot in the past couple weeks of, you know, is there a show that you want to go into? Is there any? And I'm like, I like right where I am. Like I feel so fulfilled
Mhm.
um, being the creator or creative. So I feel like I'm in a really good place.
She feels very natural being the boss.
I like being the boss.
I
Okay,
that's
there's
what
nothing wrong with that.
I feel like you and I can vibe really well because same. Um
Yeah,
yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah. Oh no, being yes, I agree. Sorry. No,
Yeah,
it's true.
That's okay.
yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah.
I know
yeah.
my role.
But Drew, I'm curious about you. So you had this amazing experience with the boy band and the boy band life and all that stuff. So how did Rent come into your life? Because it wouldn't be a theater podcast without talking about your time doing theater, of course.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was, 98 degrees, had, a great run. And then we was, everybody has different things they want to experience and
Mhm.
projects and things like that. So we went on a hiatus and we were living out in LA. And honestly, I got
Oh
a
yeah.
call that said, all right, we're casting for Rent. There's an open call. And they're like, Roger. And I was like, whoa. Nope, that's not going to happen. And they're like, all right, well, what about Mark? I was like, that we can talk about. So I, started my voice lessons because I hadn't done anything theater focused since I was 16 years old or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And then I started, working through on my sides, and I went into the audition, and Michael Greif was there, and we went through the whole process, and he gave me notes, and I went back and did them. And literally, I walked out the audition, and I was like, okay, I feel good about this. I feel like I did really well. And the only other audition I had done prior to that was Tick Tick Boom.
Oh.
Um,
Oh
I auditioned
yeah.
for that, and I
Yeah.
walked in and I sang "On the Street Where You Live." So not
I didn't get
I'm
necessarily.
it.
so sorry, but I love that story so much.
Yeah.
Shocking.
So
You
I,
That
I
didn't.
I had no
oh,
concept of what it was like to audition
No.
for theater. Like,
It's-
well, let me find something that's comparable stylistically, and but I didn't know. It's a show tune. It's a musical. I'm gonna go and blah blah. And so I didn't have a whole lot of experience at that point in auditioning for theater. So when I walked out, I called my manager at the time, and they're like, "Yeah, I'll follow up with them." And literally, I was walking down the street, leaving the audition, and they said, you should expect an offer. So, as opposed to the don't call us, we'll call you kind of thing, it was very much like, all right, great, let's do this. And being in Rent, I will tell anybody that ever listens, changed my life as a performer, changed my life as someone who appreciates theater, loves theater. Everything about that show at that time, the ensemble, the connection with the rest of the cast. I'm still very, very close with a lot of those castmates, even though 20 it was 2004, 2005. So it
it
was a long
doesn't
time ago.
matter.
Yeah,
It
it's just
doesn't
a number.
matter.
Same as me.
Um,
Yes.
but it also showed me how I want to
Mm.
how I want to lead, how I want to create an atmosphere that is supportive of the cast and how the cast can come together and support each other. I still use, little lines that Michael said to me during our work sessions.
Mhm.
So it definitely shaped who I was and as a performer then, and I'm still just in awe of theater. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh God.
even though we know the schedule,
Mhm.
anybody that does the HO week schedule and is willing to kind of make this their priority of your life because it has to be, um, they definitely have a lot of respect for
I
me.
well, can I interject really
Of
quickly?
course,
It's
of
it's
course.
funny because we keep getting a lot of comparisons with the labelists right now to Rent,
Yeah.
and as well as some other things. But I reflect on it quite a bit because I was here with him when he was performing, and I myself am very close with the cast as well. I like to think I was like an honorary
Yeah.
cast member.
Yeah.
Um,
You were
very
just in
very
the
close.
background.
I was like, it's
Yeah.
fine. I'm gonna make brownies and like leave them in the
Yeah.
yeah, all good. But I do think that without knowing, I love that show,
Hmm.
and I think that I loved how it made me feel. I loved what it was saying. I loved what it represented. I loved that ensemble look and core group of people on the stage. And so I think it's kind of interesting that like without knowing,
Hmm.
like it wasn't like we sat down and we were like,
Yeah.
oh, we want to look just like Rent. We're getting a lot of those comparisons, which we don't take lightly by any way, shape, or form. But I do think that that moment in time definitely was impactful
Oh yeah.
to both of us.
Yeah.
And then without knowing it, 20 some years later, all of a sudden we're kind of doing some similar things that feel the same. So
I guess you can say it's kind of like a rent for the newer generation, if you
yes.
want to kind of put that spin on it. I know there's also been a couple of comparisons to a chorus line, but that's
Yep.
probably because, I mean, when we talk about Label more, we'll get into it, but it's because it's based on the performers' real
Yep.
lives, a la a chorus line as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Correct.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Drew, back to you in theater.
Yes.
Yes.
As long as we
Theater.
always come back to me, I'm good.
Always go
Yes.
back to Drew.
And then
He
Leah
loves
can
it.
always interject and then
I'll
she'll
just
like,
interject.
well,
I'll just,
it's
yeah.
fine. You'll
Yeah.
be like, actually, I was there.
She'd be like,
Um,
"You're
That is
wrong."
not what happened.
that's not,
Yeah.
well, let's talk about Spamalot then, because I saw
Okay.
that on Broadway with the original cast many times. But I was also in college and I didn't have to pay for my own ticket. So, the youth.
Yes.
Yes.
So you
Yeah.
The
do
struggle.
Rent and then you get like the theater bug. And then how does Spamalot come into your life?
Mm.
So I auditioned for a bunch of stuff in between too, and
And you did a big show in between.
oh yeah, I did Dance with the Stars,
Yes.
which kind of,
Like he won, no big deal or anything, guys.
No biggie.
well,
Do you
but it
still have the Mirrorball trophy somewhere? Do they
We
actually give
do.
that to you?
It's
they
falling apart.
did. It's in a box somewhere. It's like a choking hazard for toddlers.
That's
So
fine.
it's
Listen, the people
yeah.
listening who are fans are going to want to know these things, so that's why I have to ask these questions.
Yes,
Yeah.
so it's 20 years old, and then the glue has just deteriorated and it just fell
It's
apart.
sad. It's sad.
Yeah, the art department didn't get paid enough
Well,
back in
was
those
it
days.
it was early in the season or like early on, so like
Yeah.
they,
Second
I'm
season.
sure it's like somehow like really glued on there now.
Well, they went to Michael's, I think,
I
and they
believe
bought
so.
like one of those
Yeah.
You know
foam balls
what?
and
That's
then
an
just
even better story.
I
glued
love it. I
glued a
bet
bunch of
yeah.
mirror
But
onto it.
If it
honestly,
was
singing
perfect.
Street Where I Live for Tick Tick Boom will forever be my favorite. It honestly, and I don't mean to like make fun of you for it at all, but like that just fills me with so much joy and I can't explain why. And I'm so sorry.
Oh, no,
But
think
that's
about it.
No,
Like
it's
incredible.
great.
I
It's a good
walk in
story.
with my book and I open it up and the company was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
Not really.
I was like,
Really?
"This is the
Oh,
song?" I
that's
was
a good
like,
choice.
"Yeah, I have often
But you
loved,"
know
and then
what?
it
I
went
will
promoted.
say though, some people will be like, it was a daring choice that you did that because people
Bold.
aren't, yeah, bold choice. Like you're
Yep.
gonna have people go in there who don't do it. Like they had that TV show, Bunheads with Sutton Foster, and she was
Oh
like
yes.
auditioning for
Yes.
something,
Yeah.
and she was gonna sing like a song from Les Mis, and like Seth Rudetsky was playing the pianist, and he's like, "Oh my God, if I had to hear this song again, sing this one." She goes, "Really? The show's about a dying woman." He goes, "Believe me." And so she sings something from Sweet Charity.
Oh
So,
God.
yeah.
So I didn't, I thought what would Jonathan Larson like to hear? And so that was
Right,
on the
right.
street where you live. That's
Yeah.
what
That,
came.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right. Listen,
absolutely.
if you go to the museum or Broadway and you walk in, like as soon as you walk in to the right, there's a display case with all of his vinyls. So I don't know if My Fair Lady's in
My
there,
Fair
but
Lady.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of good stuff in there.
Either way,
Either
Yeah.
I
way.
didn't get the part.
No,
Yes.
But
no.
so the SPAMalot kind of came about because my profile was fairly
Hmm.
decent
It
on
was decent.
yeah,
Yeah.
coming out of Dancing with the Stars, and Mike Nichols was actually a fan of the show.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, so they reached out and they said, "Hey, would you be interested in auditioning?" And I said, "Of course, I would love to." I mean, I love Monty Python.
Hmm.
At this point, I don't know, how old was I? 20, 30, maybe
30.
30, 31.
About to be 30. Yeah.
So, any, you know, guy that is a little emotionally and mentally stunted such as myself is going to really attach with Monty Python. Just the French taunters in general,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, let me do it. And he was like, so we want you to audition for Robin. I was like, really? Okay,
Oh, I didn't know.
I
I don't
wouldn't
think I knew
I
this.
wouldn't think that
Oh,
would
is
be
this an
the part.
exclusive?
This is an
Yeah.
It's an
exclusive.
So
exclusive, guys. So Robin, bravely bold Sir
yeah.
Robin. Okay, I'll stop
Yes.
singing.
Yeah. So Robin, and I was like, well, maybe I Lancelot or so. But anyway, I go in and I audition for Robin. Like, great. So after seeing it, we don't necessarily think Robin would be the right role to put you in. Um, we do think though
We do think
that
that.
Patsy might be a fun role. So go learn Brightside and come back tomorrow and audition with that. So I went home, learned Brightside, and then came back in the next day, and then next thing you know, I was Patsy.
Patsy.
Which for me was another, kind of monumental moment in my life, just because, I was moving back to the city. I was doing this show, a show that I adored.
Our daughter
Our
was
daughter
2.
was, a little toddler bouncing around the city.
It was fun.
And for me, so did Rent with Merle Dandridge, and then
Yeah.
I came into SPAMalot, and Merle and I are even this day still very close. She came into SPAMalot like 2 weeks after I started,
Which was wild. That
yeah.
was wild.
So Marin was my original Lady of the Lake, and
Wow.
then Merle came in, who was one of my very good friends. So it was just kind of like this great moment, and I learned a lot from the cast. I feel like I'm good in a way that I don't think I know everything yet.
Which is good advice for everyone.
I'm always
all the
trying
time.
to I'm always trying to learn more.
Yeah.
I
You
am
know,
nodding my head yes for those who can't see, but
yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
So I'm always trying to absorb from people that I respect and other actors and performers. I'm like, what works for them? Like what draws me to their performance? What makes me want to watch them? And then I try and take some of those same characteristics and bring them to my own performances. So but that show, again, I use Mike Nichols isms all the time as I'm directing and teaching. I mean, he was always like, "Don't put a hat on a hat," and I'm like, "What the hell does that mean?" And then well, if you already got a hat on, the
Don't put another one
script's
on.
already a joke. Why do you need to like ham it up and make it another joke? The hat, you're already wearing a hat.
Yeah.
It's kind of badass though when he drops that one. Who told you that? Oh, no big deal.
Mike Nichols.
Yeah.
Mike
NBD.
Nichols.
You've heard of
Yeah.
him? Yeah. But I
Yeah.
want to know what it
Yeah.
was like to work with Mike Nichols.
So for me, it was very creative in a lot of ways, because he would say, "All right, what's this choice about? Like, why are you playing him this way?" And he let me go into this whole like diatribe at how I thought Patsy was like appreciative of this role, and even though he was basically one step away from a slave for the king, and he still carried himself with respect and pride, and he was like, "I appreciate all that." No.
No.
So
I love that you did all that work.
yeah, he
but
let
no.
he let me go into like my choices and my justification for it and all this stuff, and then he basically was just like, "All right," with a smile on his face. No. And so I was like, "All right, great." And then when
All right.
Mike Nichols tells you no,
Yeah.
play it this way, you
You
play
shut
it that
up.
way.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a pinch me moment. And again, I quote him and Michael Greff all the time. Just because, again, you learn things, you try and carry them with you into your life. And, I've always tried and share my experiences with our cast and, people we teach. So all good experiences, all good stuff.
So, Lea, while Drew is on Broadway and doing all of this stuff, what are you doing?
Well, I was dancing professionally for a very long time.
Hmm.
And then right around the time that we moved to Los Angeles, which would have been what, 2001,
Hmm.
2002? God, that was so long ago. Um, I'll share this story because I think people can learn from this. I put together my choreography reel and I had choreographed for major artists
Hmm.
and done a lot of work. And it was like, no.
Hmm.
And it was very humbling. Um, so I kind of, I did a pivot and I actually opened a bake shop, like a specially order bake shop with my mom and my brother in Los Angeles. We did quite well. We were featured on Rachel Ray. And so I kind of like went this other direction. And I'll share this. It was Carrie Ann Inaba was at our house for a party one night and looked at me dead in the eye and said, "You're not done. I don't know what you're doing, but you're not done." And it was like jolting, and I actually got kind of angry. Like I was like, "Don't." I was like, "You can't tell me like, no, I'm doing all this other stuff." And she was like, "No, you're not done." And one thing led to another, like we had our second child, Hudson, our son, who is now 16, which is wild. And I think it's interesting that in your life's choices, when you're really listening to your heart, and we moved back to Cincinnati to be near family, I think because of that decision is why we're sitting here right now talking to you, which is
Yeah.
crazy to think
Hmm.
that you've told for so long LA and New York are where you need to be. It's where you need to train. It's where you need to work. And yes, I was working and I was, advising on films. I was choreographing for the guys and for different tours. Um, but this was always a dream for me to create something really spectacular from the ground up. So kind of crazy that to move back to Cincinnati is where that all started for us.
Yeah.
So we started teaching.
Hmm.
So then I heard Carrie Ann in my head, and I was like, darn it. I was like, she's right. Like, she was
Yeah.
right. And it filled my soul. And
Hmm.
I got back into, working more. And then one thing led to another. We just became a team and we started our nonprofit, Lachey
Yeah.
Arts.
Hmm.
Um, and now we're here.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so I would love to
What's
talk about
new?
Lachey Arts because I know
Yeah.
it was conceived while you guys were living in LA and then
Yes.
moved to Cincinnati. So what made you decide to kind of like pull the trigger and just go for it with this nonprofit that you guys run?
So, like you said, always a dream. Back patio in LA. We would be talking about this quite frequently.
Hmm.
When we moved back, we went back to the Performing Arts High School where we graduated from. Saw a show. It needed help. It needed help, and we became friendly with the artistic director there at the time. And he said, "I would love your help with this." And so the joke is it started as 2 days a week teaching, maybe for an hour, turned into 5 days, turned into us writing shows, turned into us. And then we also held a camp every summer,
Hmm.
which maybe 80 kids?
80 kids count.
80 kids. We brought in all of our friends. Speaking of Merle Dandridge, John Rua, like
Yeah.
name people. We brought them in to teach, and it was really powerful 2 weeks. We feel really, really strongly that arts education should be available to all. And so, we scholarshiped probably over half of our students. And then that snowballed. We ran the musical theater program at the Performing Arts School for 10 years.
Ish, yeah.
And then we opened our own studio space.
Hmm.
So yeah, kept us quite busy. We were parents and teachers all at the same time. So we learned a lot.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
also with your studio, I believe like all ages can take class as well, but you have to make sure you sign up for a class. Is that
So we're usually like 12 and up.
okay?
And we found that in Cincinnati there was a kind of a space where people were not being educated in like high school and up. So
Hmm.
we helped with college pre-screens. We helped with self-tapes. We had a lot of students that were auditioning for off-Broadway and Broadway productions and films. So it was super fulfilling.
There's
Um,
also this concept of you dance when you're in high school, but as soon as you
yeah,
graduate high school, you stop dancing.
I don't get
Like,
that.
it's like, oh,
Who
you've
says
been.
that?
It's
Like,
I
just
don't
kind of,
know. It's weird.
if you're
It's
not
really
doing comp
weird.
team, you can't dance anymore.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
like, ugh.
so we never did anything like
Mm-mm.
long term. It was like, yeah, you sign up per week, per class, like you
yeah.
drop in. And it really kind of built its own following, just from people that loved the sense of community that was
Mhm.
there. I mean, clearly she's an amazing teacher, so students were
Eh,
drawn to her classes. But we did table reads.
yeah.
We did just literally like, all right, let's
Hmm.
up your knowledge of different plays. So we did like
And
gruesome
then,
playground incidents and cat on a hot tin roof. We just
I'm
sit
yeah,
around
so
and
yeah,
read
obsessed
plays.
with you guys doing that. I love that so much because for me, being like such a theater nerd, it's just like so important. Like, because so many people who have degrees in theater, they lose it. And, I have a degree in acting, but I don't really pursue it. But like seeing shows and doing this podcast kind of gets like my theater juices
yeah,
going. And I just love the idea of like, well, if you're not doing anything, just like get a group of people together and read a play and just
Yeah,
like
yes.
make something. And I've had so many people on the podcast where like, I would love to do Shakespeare. I'm like, Shakespeare
Go
is
do it.
free. Get a group
Yeah.
of people and just like put on a production in like Central Park.
I love
Like do it
that.
for yourself. So sorry, I'm like nerding out so hard right now that you guys do that.
No, I think that, you know, we learned so much as well, like from the
Yeah.
students. And then as we were going, I say this all the time. It was like when you have an abundance of students to choreograph on all the time and to
Hmm.
try new things, like I can speak for myself choreography wise,
Hmm.
formations and transitions. I always say that like, my God, that was like the best schooling ever for me
Yeah.
because you have the freedom and you're not like creating because someone wants it a specific way. You have the freedom as an artist to kind of like go where you want to go. So it's been thrilling and out of that is where Labelist was born.
Yeah.
So we owe it to that first class of students.
Yeah. So where did the idea of even doing this empathy exercise come from?
Uh, I mean, honestly, like anybody that's ever, worked with teenagers or done a acting class for people who aren't necessarily, you know, master thespians yet.
Hmm.
You're trying to just get people to put themselves in
Feel.
the character's shoes. Like,
Yeah.
what's this person feeling? How are they going through life? And the best way that we could come up with was, all right, let's find scenarios that are close to you. Like,
Mhm.
we don't need to put you in, 1600s England and figure out what was going on then. Let's put you in somebody's shoes that you're with every day. So everybody wrote down, on these little just scraps of paper anonymously ways that they weren't feeling seen or valued in their lives. And we were just gonna like drop them in a hat. They were gonna pull them out and they're gonna be like, all right, this person is struggling with this. Let me kind of put myself in their shoes. So we took them home that night and we were gonna just kind of prep for class the next day. We put them out on the table and we were brokenhearted. It literally broke our hearts to see some of the things that our students, people that we saw
Every
every
day.
day, that we knew well, but we had no idea that they were struggling with in their own lives, whether it was,
It was shocking.
bullying, mental health, feeling like they couldn't come out to their parents, their family members were telling them, don't go to school because your place is in the kitchen. Just these things like archaic concepts that
We didn't think we were going
we
on.
thought we had moved past as a society.
Mhm.
And so from that moment, Lea had this idea to create a show that would give a voice to people who felt like they had no voice, give a platform to people who felt like they weren't seen.
Hmm.
And again, it's funny, I just made this connection right now while we were talking,
Hmm.
going back to having that freedom artistically, right? Not having someone saying, like, this is how we see the show.
Yeah.
We started with one song and we just went with what our guts were telling us, right?
Yeah.
Like what our intuition was telling us. So it happened pretty quickly. And we just kind of went with what felt right. And it worked. And we, with the permission too, I always say this because this is very important, the permission of that class. So before we started it, we said to them, we're going to dig into this. How do you feel? Like, is this something you want to be a part of? And they were so brave and they were like, let's do it. And so for 2 months, we were in this big multi-purpose room at the Performing Arts High School, just working
Hmm.
endlessly, night after night. And we kind of pulled these songs together. Now, at that point, there were no original songs, clearly. We were picking songs that we thought fit those topics.
So were
So
you
like
picking the songs, or were the students helping with picking those songs based on their
we
stories?
we were picking
So we
them.
kind of identified, what would be the major
Hmm.
storylines, the isms, for lack of a better
Hmm.
word. At that point we had, sexism, racism, homophobia, bullying, mental health, self-worth, topics that are big and
Hmm.
prevalent
Hmm.
situations in high schools. Well, bit broader than that, but
Yeah.
especially for kids in high schools. And then we would do our research and we'd do some digging and we would find songs. And then we would sometimes be like, all right, it's between these two songs. And sometimes they would vote on it. But at that point, it was like, all right, we have 40 students in our class. We have a 40-person orchestra. There's going to be a 100-person choir in this
It was
too.
huge.
So the whole school kind of rallied behind it at this point. And we had at this point, the stories weren't true to them. We did it more like
Yeah.
slam poetry kind of,
Hmm.
Hmm.
as far as telling the stories. And then the second time we did the show, we added a section on disability,
Hmm.
because one of the young ladies who came into the show uses a motorized chair, and that kind of opened our eyes to
There are other.
telling true stories, because I wrote a monologue for her that was based on her life.
Hmm.
Um,
And the audience reacted in a different way.
yeah,
And we thought, you know what? I think we need to
Hmm.
really tell true stories.
Hmm.
And then that's when we started to get a little bit more input. Now we're into, phase 3 and 4,
Hmm.
and we're pushing it along because we then are able to see that audiences are reacting to this in a very different way than we have ever seen in
Hmm.
a theatrical setting. It was emails and letters and calls and when are you going to do this again? And people were persistent with it. And we would be like, oh my God, because we were
Yeah.
doing multiple jobs at that point. And so we
Yeah.
were like, okay, but we listened and we stayed with it.
Hmm.
And then we filmed it during COVID. And then we did it in a black box setting. And then we did it in a warehouse, which was really cool, by the way. Then we did 2 runs at Cincinnati Playhouse. Then we came to New York last spring. And so it has evolved,
Yeah.
into so much more. I truly believe there's a lot more depth involved in it now. It's a smaller cast, clearly. But it's wild to go back and think about all those creative changes and paths that you have to go down and go, that doesn't work, and
Yeah.
pull back.
Hmm.
So 8 years,
Yeah. That's
8 years work.
so I am curious about this too. So the people whose stories are the ones who are telling it in the show, correct?
Hmm. Yep.
So what is it like working on each individual story with that person? And how do you make it flow within the story so it kind of creates a cohesive show with one another?
yeah. So the biggest thing that kind of works with that is I sit down with each cast member that's going to come in and do a monologue, and I kind of get their take, their backstory, what makes them tick, and how this story has affected their life. And casting plays a big part in it, because you have to cast people that are like, all right, yes, I'm willing to share this story. I'm willing to go down this path with you. And then I show them what I've written for past cast members. And I say, all right, this is kind of the tone, this is kind of the length, this is kind of, the structure of what it is. How does this fit with your story? We can keep some of this, we can change it, we can start from scratch. And it kind of varies by cast member. I mean, I've had people be like, that really isn't my story. Can we start over? I'm like, all right, pull up the sleeves and you start with, word number one.
But the section remains the same. So we know that those themes, those topics, however you want to use, whatever word you want to use.
Yeah. And then there's some times where it's like, yes, that is exactly my story as well. Or yes, that has happened to me. And you maybe change some details, you change timelines, but the stories are either 100% true to the person that's currently in the show, or true to a person that has been in the show before, but still is relatable to the person that is in the cast now.
Yeah. So Lea, how is it for you as a choreographer of the show to incorporate the dance and movement for each story as well? Like, how did you find that and figure out how to do it?
So I knew that it had to look realistic, and it couldn't look like we're going to do this monologue and then we're going to go into a number. It needed to look real and connected. I always tell the cast that it's almost like, I use the word pedestrian movement. So you've got that transition that happens where you're seeing what appears to be like, people walking down the street, real connection. And then we break into something that is a little bit more technical at times, if it works. Some are more challenging than others because they have more weight to them. So you want to make sure that it's authentic and it feels real and there is a rawness to it. I tend to hire dancers that are extreme, not tend, I do hire dancers that are very versatile, because those tracks, I mean, they're doing everything from contemporary to putting a Laduca boot on and heels and then going into something that's more, hip hop. I've loved the challenge, and I am really proud in where it sits right now. I love it.
I will say a lot of times she'll come and she'll say, Drew, I really respect you as a choreographer.
Yeah, that never happens.
I really loved your work in the past.
Yeah, so I loved your cowboy number.
I look up to you.
He just did like this part of it, or maybe some like La Boheme
like maybe like an arm, and then I'm like, no.
Or maybe he'll just like incorporate like the coconut.
The coconuts.
Yeah, the coconuts. And I'm like,
can that be an Easter egg that I look for when I see the show? It's just like a pair of coconuts on the stage.
I love that.
Sure.
We can do that.
We can have somebody.
We'll give it to one of the cast members. Be like,
I can't wait. Show. Be like, what's that? Don't worry about it. Someone's seeing the show. They'll get the reference.
Don't worry.
Yeah, it's great. But I love how you guys also plant Easter eggs each performance in the show, and the cast does as well. So where did that idea come from?
Well, I mean, I think anybody that's performed a show for a bunch of times
needs something,
understands that little games get played on stage too, and there's little things that happen. Hopefully the audience doesn't see them. Unfortunately, a lot of times the audience does.
So then we said, let's make them more noticeable.
Yeah. So the thing is that our cast really is a group of friends. They really are a community. They really are, what they are off stage is also what they are on stage. Why would we try and hide up those moments of connection, those moments where they, are having fun with each other, where they're, giving each other, crazy looks, or playing what is it, like assassins or murder or whatever the game is.
Do they do that during the show? That would be
no, I don't. Well, I don't see it.
Who's blinking?
Me, I better not.
So there are moments like that. We hide little things in the set. There's different things in the graffiti and the background of the set. Little things that.
But at the beginning of the show, there's a pre-show moment where they all come out And then they each have their own heart
Hmm.
with their name on it. And so, yeah, they're gonna, each show is different. You don't know where that heart is going to be placed, and if you're paying attention, you'll see it. And it's fun for them. It's fun for the audience. I think it's just another moment of connection. And I know that like people hear us say all the time, yeah, 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 yeah. They're like family. You love them. They're like family,
Yeah.
and we adore them. They're unbelievably close.
Yeah. Well, I think with a piece like this, you kind of have to be, or else it wouldn't work because there's such deep personal stories and everybody, I mean, it's also that saying like you never know what somebody's going through. And it's
Hmm.
just incredible that these performers are wanting to share
Yeah,
this side of themselves that a lot of people aren't comfortable doing. And that's
right.
what I think is so great about the show too, because you guys have discussed that, if anybody's seeing the show can just leave the show feeling anything, that's like enough for you. Or like that's the
Yeah,
goal of the
and
show.
yeah, we always,
Yeah.
we have this expression, it's just one person.
Yeah.
There just needs to be one person in the audience who needs to hear that they're not alone, that they're seen,
Mhm.
that there is a community out there that will embrace them, that they are enough.
Yeah.
Then that, 100 minutes sitting in the theater was worth it. I mean, that's all we need is just one person. And fortunately for us, it's to usually a lot more than one person.
Yeah.
But it is a roller coaster of a show. I mean, there are moments of joy and celebration, there's moments of heartache, there's moments of togetherness, there's moments of feeling completely isolated and alone. And what we like to say is all those things mirror what
Yeah.
any one of us go through on any given day.
Yeah.
So it's just sometimes just to know that you are seen and that you aren't alone, and that there is a group of people that will accept you for who you are.
Mhm.
That's a lot of times what people just need to hear to get through the day. And then you take all that and you wrap it up into a beautiful shiny bow with great songs and great dance and beautiful performances and lighting and the projection. It
Great
makes a pretty
music.
special
Let's
night.
let's not forget great
Yeah,
music.
great
I'll give you
music.
that
Well,
fair.
I'm
Don't
not
worry.
going to say it, but you
The
can
no, the
say it.
music
You're
is
welcome. I
incredible.
said it
Yeah.
for you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, so I do feel like it really does have a special connection to audience members just because it is
Absolutely.
personal. And like you said,
It's
those cast members, they do have to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
Um,
I
you know,
think that's one of our favorite things to do. I can say at the Sunday matinee show, Drew and I were at the back of the house and just kind of watching the audience reaction to what is going on is moves us as creators, just as much. I mean, it's the show is gorgeous and we're so proud of it, but when you see people reacting in an authentic way, which is what we want from the show, it takes your breath away. And then you are reminded why you keep going and you keep doing it because it matters.
Yeah. So I know the show has evolved over the years, and I'm sure you've had some casts who started out with you who have left to journey on to other things. How do you evolve the show when you have newer cast members coming in? Do you have, or how do you find people to bring into the show?
well,
A lot
we
of different
we
ways.
take out an ad in the newspaper
Hold
if
on,
I can
I'll
help
sit
one at a
down.
time.
Okay, go ahead, guys.
Yeah.
Let me take a
Okay.
sip of water.
I mean, we have a wonderful casting director for this phase, which was extremely helpful because we were looking for very specific things this time around. It's a unique show to cast because it is not a traditional musical theater
Hmm.
book musical. So we tend to kind of like you're straddling the pop world and the Broadway world.
Hmm.
Um, and I think with that, you have these artists that come out that are extremely unique. And we pride ourselves on that too, that we don't want it to be cookie cutter. Makes our jobs harder, casting, because we're not really, when we go out, we're not like, oh, it has to be this type.
Hmm.
We're like, no, they have to sing this song and feel moved by what's going on stage. And so difficult, but in the end, super rewarding when I think we find the right people, which we did. They're killer.
Yeah, I mean, we do have 5, I think 5 cast members that have been with the show since 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they were a part of it kind of in that
Hmm.
second run, and they've grown with the show. They've helped us get it to every next step.
Yeah.
They're extremely committed to it, but their connection to the show might be a little different than the people that joined it a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
True.
But I don't want to say it's any less.
No.
The new people's connection is any less strong or intense, because in order to do this show the way that they're doing on the level they're doing it, you have to be committed to being able to tell this story and being vulnerable, and so there is just a general sense of community and unity on the stage, and a lot of that comes down to a lot happens over time.
Mm-hmm.
This time it was like the 5th rehearsal.
No joke. It was the 5th rehearsal in the rehearsal room, and Drew and I looked at each other and said, "That is the fastest that has ever happened."
Wow.
So it kind of shows you what wonderful, beautiful people we have in the cast.
Yeah, it was almost like, so we were going through like you get the information out, you get as
Yeah.
much choreography and information and music rehearsals and all that out as you possibly can, and then you start trying to walk through the show. And there was one particular section that a cast member that's been with the show for forever
Yeah.
does. So we hadn't been rehearsing that. We hadn't been dealing with that. And then we started doing runs, and he did it for the first time, and it's all about mental health, and it's about the battles and the demons that he goes through. And some of these new cast members, you could literally
Yeah.
on their face, they're like, oh shit.
What is happening? Yeah.
Yeah. And then he kind of put himself out there with just this vulnerable, performance in a rehearsal.
Yeah.
And it was like, you could see it. It was almost like, the telephone game, but it was like one person started crying over here, and then it just
Lip quivers, couldn't sing. I was like, oh man, we're losing them.
By the end of this song, it was like everybody was just like, they had connected in this one moment. And all it took was one person to show their vulnerability. And at that one moment, it bonded them together.
And there it is. That's like what it's all about.
Yeah.
It takes one person to tell their story, and then people connect and they open up, and there it is. That's what it's about.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know too, because you guys did the show at Theater Row last year. What was it like bringing the show back to New York, or was there a phone call? Was there a hope, or what was that experience like, being like, gotta go back to New York, guys? The city.
I mean, twist our arms.
And one
I'm
is
sure
summer to be here, like we were saying.
I know.
I think there's kind of this misconception, like there's this Broadway elf that decides what shows get to go to Broadway and which gets to go to off-Broadway.
Yeah.
And,
Well, no, I mean, I always tell people in the conversations I have, like, it takes so long for anything just to get to Broadway or off Broadway or what have you. So it's not an overnight thing. And you have so many shows that have been in the works for so many years. And then I think, well, like Lin-Manuel Miranda, this is so niche, but Lin-Manuel Miranda hosted SNL, and he's like, it took me 8 years to write Hamilton, so who knows when I'll be back here hosting the show again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what it's like. I think that, last spring at Theater Row allowed us to do those 10 shows and make big connections with people that loved the show. And then from there, it's like, I mean, we have to always keep pushing it forward. If you believe in it, you're pushing it forward. And then I'm lucky, I don't, or that our team believes in it and they got behind us. And so we have this amazing team of people right now that are like, let's do this and let's go all the way, which is why we're here and finding the right theater and the right timeline and all that.
Yeah, our motivation last spring when we brought it to Theater Row was like, all right, we're going to find a producer who's going to want to take the show and elevate it and carry it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
What we didn't realize was that all the producers that might be doing that are already like working on their own projects and doing things like that. And also that we already were producing it. we had already done like so
Yeah.
many of
Yeah.
the steps.
Mhm.
And there was actually another producing team who we were talking with. They're like, I'm sorry, why are you
Guys, you
guys?
guys, what are you doing? You are the producers. And we were like, ah, like it kind of like freaked us out. And they said, what you need is a good general manager. Um, and then that was the first stepping stone from
Yeah.
there.
I'll let you decide which one's Bialystok and Bloom. But other than that,
You know
Rough.
what? I would pay to see you guys do a production of that. Yeah.
well, I mean, by the time it's done, we are both going to be on walkers.
We really are.
Yeah. Leo will be
Yeah.
Una, and then you
Yes,
could
I'll take
be
that. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Bloom, and then we'll find someone to play
We'll
Bialystok.
find.
Who
Yeah.
would be your dream Bialystok? Let's talk about that.
In real life,
God,
or
I'm
like
not
Yeah, no,
know.
that.
like right now. So, because I
Right
was going
now.
to ask later on, like dream projects, but like we don't have to say it's a dream project, but we're working on this right now. We're workshopping this idea.
I mean, how we? I don't know
Let's think
anybody who's
about it.
going to beat like Nathan Lane. So
I
let's
know
let's
that's
just.
what literally is in my head. I'm
I
like, I don't
mean,
know how you beat
So it's
that.
okay. Nathan Lane can come back. This is our
yeah. Okay.
dream. This
Nathan
is
Lane.
this
Okay.
is dream producers, and we also
Um.
manifest on this podcast. So
Oh, I love a manifest.
yeah,
Let's go.
I manifested ragtime at Lincoln Center for years, and now that like my joke is that I'm the reason it's happening there because on this podcast I have talked about how I want a production of ragtime at Lincoln Center with Joshua Henry and Brandon Uranowitz specifically. Thank you.
You're the one. Come on,
Yeah.
say something good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you want for
Labelist.
labelist?
What do you want for
Say it. Say it out loud.
Labelist
labelist?
is gonna go overseas. I see my hair is crazy right now. It's gonna go to London
That's one of
and
our.
That's
Fringe
what I
Festival.
want.
And Fringe Festival.
Okay,
That's
I like
my
you.
thank you. That's like what's in my head right now. I was like, I mean, granted, I haven't seen the show yet, but I've seen the clips and I'm very excited about seeing the show and the coconuts on the way just for
Coconuts
me
throughout.
when I go
Yeah.
see it. But no, that's
Um.
what I'm seeing. I'm seeing it in London and I'm seeing it at the Fringe Festival.
Yeah, the West End is
Oh
something
yeah,
that we've
that's
talked a
like.
lot about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just kind of going back to, what it takes to create a show and support a show and fund a show. And
Yeah.
the West End has a different kind of
Hmm.
business model
Yes.
that
We'll,
is
we'll
a
say
little
that.
bit more user friendly
Yeah.
to a show kind of like
And they
Labelist.
also, I mean, it's nothing against New York too, because I love New York
No.
theater, but their
Right.
shows are so different out there too. And I always say like they're very British, but
Yes.
like I feel like something like Labelist can work extremely well in London.
I
Yeah,
like
we agree.
what you're putting down.
We agree.
That's
Thank
where
you.
what I
I'm just
see.
like looking to see, my hair is going crazy right now, so I'm trying to be like, there you go.
Um, you look great.
Thanks.
The other little connection that you have to know, which is magic right now when you're talking about ragtime, Nichelle Lewis was in Labelist.
How am I like just learning this, you guys? Oh my
Nichelle
God.
is one of our faves and came on when I told you about the warehouse space when we
Oh,
put the show in.
that's amazing.
Nichelle was there.
Amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing.
From
So
Labelist
I
to
don't know.
Tony nominee.
Right.
Okay, so I actually saw Ragtime because the theater gods were looking out for me, and they're like, Allison, you know what? You deserve this. Front row, center orchestra, one seat away from dead center, first night of previews. And
Wow.
her
Holy
singing
cow.
Daddy's Son, I was like leaning forward and I noticed that I was on my tippy toes while watching her perform. And I was just
Yeah,
kind of like,
she's
yes,
amazing.
like going crazy. I had a
She's
tissue in my hand
unreal.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a delightful human. I
Oh,
always like to let people know that. She's just
yes.
amazing.
So I
Yeah.
do want to say, like, there are
Mhm.
those moments that
Mm.
people that go to live theater experience,
Mhm.
that literally just kind of change the way you either look at life, the way you
Yeah.
look at yourself, your career, whatever it is. And there are those moments that can completely change your trajectory.
Yeah.
So like I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are going to listen to this podcast are already in love with theater, and that's why they listen to the Theater Enthusiast. But I think for a lot of people, getting out and seeing a show, even
Mhm.
if Broadway isn't your thing,
I
like theater
know.
isn't your thing, it can change your humanity. It can change
Yeah.
the way you connect to people. It can do so many great things. I mean, I think just encouraging people to get out and experience life with other people is the way to go.
I
Me
agree with
too.
that so much because I work in a hotel I work as a concierge, and that's how I met our mutual person. And whenever I'm like, "Oh, you guys seeing the show?" "Oh, they're not really interested in the show." It's like there's something out there for everybody.
Yeah.
Like when Jersey Boys was in New York, you know how many times I send people to Jersey Boys? Because I'm like, trust me, you'll love it. Like there's something
Yeah.
out there for everyone. And I even had a phone call with someone the other day who's coming in like November. And they're like, "Oh, we don't want to see a musical." I was like, "Guess what? They just announced A Few Good Men at Lincoln Center Theater." And they were
Right.
immediately like, "Oh." So I was like,
Yeah.
"Tickets go on sale next month. You and I are going to be in communication." So
I
I
love
just
that.
want people to see a show. Like,
Yeah,
I
me
don't
too.
care what you're seeing, just go
Yep.
and see a show and make sure it's labelless.
Just one of them, make
Just
sure is
one of the
labeled.
many off
Yeah. Yeah.
Broadway at the Duke
Yeah.
until August 29th. So we just got to go see something. Excuse me, I'm verklempt from talking to you guys. I'm so excited. So what's so exciting about performing at the Duke Theater? Let's talk about this current production of Labelist. I'm also curious to know, before I forget to ask, where the title of Labelist came from.
We'll start with the title
All
and
right.
then
Okay.
I'll chime in on the
Yeah.
So
Duke.
the title has been the title since,
The very beginning.
day one.
Yeah.
And it's kind of twofold. As we go through life, and we're meeting other people, we
Hmm.
need to label less. We need to get to know people, see them for who they are, not be like, all right, I see this, looking at me, oh, I see this, 50-year-old white guy who was in a boy band and did some Broadway shows, and
He doesn't know.
I've got
Yeah.
him,
Hmm.
summed up.
Yeah.
Pretty sure there's a little bit more to me than that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, we need to go through life and label less. But it's also when we look in the mirror and we look at ourselves, you know, identifying for ourselves that I am, as a human being, I am labelless.
Hmm.
I am more than just these, the sum of the parts. I am, this amazing human being. And so that's kind of where the title came from.
Yeah. And the Duke Theater for us just felt like the perfect place. It was the right location, especially with our show. We like to say it's a theatrical experience,
Hmm.
mixing the concert world with Broadway. It feels right. It feels like there's a lot of foot traffic and people that may not think that they want to come in and see a live production. We're hoping that that area helps us. But on top of that, when we walked into the space, it felt right. We knew right away. We loved that we could project. We have a lot of projection in the show.
Hmm.
We could project onto the floor, and with that stadium style seating, people could feel immersed in it. And we got quite a few comments on opening night. "Oh my gosh, the Duke is the perfect theater for this right now," because it feels like you're just right there in it with the cast.
Yeah, a show that relies so much on connection with the audience,
Hmm.
for them to be able to be close enough where they can hear
Yes.
even like the smallest breaths from the cast. They can
Mhm.
feel the connection they have with each other. It's not like,
Well, and
oh,
then,
I see them. Oh, I think that's them way down there.
but the cast can see the audience too, which is important, right? So, like, their stories are beautiful when they come off stage and they're like, "Oh my gosh, the guy in row four was, bawling his eyes out." That is, connection for them.
Yeah. So we already talked about London and or the West End and Edinburgh. At least that's what I think is going to happen. Where
Uh-huh.
else do you see Labelist going and evolving? Or do you think it's an ever evolving thing, kind of just like it's never going to be set, it's always going to be changing?
I love the idea that it's never set and it's ever changing, but I do think world domination. I joke about that, but I'm not really joking because I love the message. But I think it's a tour. I
Hmm.
think it's a documentary. I think it's a film. I think it's West End, like you said. I think it's off Broadway, and dare I say Broadway one day. I don't know. It's like we're just so excited and proud to be where we are.
Hmm.
Um, and we're having these amazing conversations with people right now that I think the possibilities are endless for this show because it's really outside of the box. I
Hmm.
think it's not your typical show.
Yeah, I think that's one thing is that, ever since we started creating the show, we've heard lots of opinions.
Oh, lots of
Oh,
opinions.
you need this kind of book. Oh, you need this number of songs. Oh, it needs to be this. It needs to be this. It needs to be this. And we didn't really subscribe to any of those ideas. The show really is kind of this blend of the two worlds that we know, which are the theater and the pop world. There's elements that feel like a concert or an award show, and they're big and they're over the top and they're kind of like these fantasy numbers. Then there are moments that is literally one person on stage giving the greatest connection that an audience can ever experience. So it has the intimacy of the theater, it has the grandeur of a pop concert, and so I think for us, because we've never subscribed to kind of what is the norm, what are the must-haves to create a successful show, that labels really can continue to evolve. It doesn't have to be one thing. It's not, this isn't Chorus Line. This isn't Michael Bennett sitting down with somebody in, the 70s, and we're still hearing the same stories from the 70s, even though Paul's monologue makes me bawl
I know.
every single
Yeah, I
time.
love that
Did you
monologue.
watch the documentary Every Little Step?
Yes.
Because whenever they show like Jason Tam's audition, I just cry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, so there are elements of the show that have that, but the fact that it can change to reflect what's happening in the world, as it continues to grow.
And I think it's a true testament to listen to your heart. Like going off of the many no's, which I know everybody has these stories when they're trying to, knock it out of the park. It's no, you can't do this. No, and we've just always been the people that have said, why? Like why can't we do that? And then we do it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's like you gotta try. I think people are, speaking of labels,
I was
are
literally going to say the
yeah,
irony of the show being called Labelless, and
yes,
people are trying to label what the
label
show
it.
is, but
Yeah,
the
it's
show
funny.
is labelless because
Uh-huh.
of the concept and what you're trying to
Totally.
create with it. See, Leah, I told you, you and I.
I
Yeah.
know, we're best friends already.
Yeah,
So
we're
we say
BFFs.
we say a lot. We say a lot. The Carol Burnett quote. People won't always remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
That is our show.
Mhm.
I think people will remember what's said,
I
but
hope so.
but the feeling that the audience leaves the theater with, this feeling of hope and community and togetherness and love, that is something that, we've been to a lot of shows,
A lot.
and we've had our socks blown off by a lot of performances, but there is something about this show that connects on just a fundamental human level that really just makes it so beautiful and touching to be a part of. And I wish I could say we're just geniuses that did that. It's not. It really comes down to just feeling like you are seeing something that is special, and that this is not, that you're not alone, that you're able to have that sense of community. I mean, we talk about Cynthia Erivo singing the final song of Color Purple and how, the whole audience was weeping and all that. I mean, there are theater moments that have changed our lives and that, made us want to continue in this world. But there are few moments that have touched us as much as being a part of the show and sharing these stories and being able to, get these amazing performers on this platform that they deserve. So it really is something special. So I know you'll see it when you come check it out.
Yeah.
But everybody should really check it out. I mean, it's not like anything else.
No, it isn't.
No, I'm really excited. And that's also, it brings me back to when I saw Every Brilliant Thing a few months ago with Daniel Radcliffe. I was kind of having like a meh, meh type day. And then I saw the show and I was like, fuck, I really needed this today.
Yes.
And that's like what's so great about theater. And I also sometimes tell people too, like, I've been seeing shows, again, not to like age myself, but we've been doing that all podcast.
We
I've been seeing shows for over 30 years. So I feel like I'm kind of like a jaded theater goer, and it takes a lot for me to be like, oh my God, this show. Like
Right.
really like nerd out hard about a show. So I'm really excited about seeing Labelless just because like your
go.
enthusiasm is also getting me really excited.
Awesome.
And I also do think like we do the same thing. You know, we go into a show and we're like, boy, what, that lighting rig, how many trucks? Like what? Like we come at it from a
Yeah.
very different place
I
too.
try not to do that when I see shows because I've had people be like, "Oh, but like I don't go in judging a show. Like I just go in to enjoy it, and whether I like it or not, I like it or not." There was a
Yeah.
particular show that's currently running that I have very strong feelings about, and I went in to be like, "Let's see if I was wrong." I wasn't, but you know,
And
I get it.
I
I
do
get
feel like
that.
there is definitely an element of that
Mhm.
to, you know, people that go to theater. They have an idea of what they like and what is good theater, and
Yeah,
you know, they have an idea of what is bad or cheap theater, and you know,
yeah.
so I do
And
feel
you're
like
not going to change
no, you're not
anybody's
going to
mind.
change that.
Well,
What
no,
No.
I
I
mean,
just
like
want
for
to,
me, I don't go in being like I was going to be right the whole time. Like if I ended up
Yeah.
enjoying it, I would have been like, you know what, I like that a lot better than I thought. So
Yeah.
need to put
Yeah.
that out there about myself. But I understand what you're saying about other people.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there is a
They put it in a box.
yes, and there's almost a there's a pretense to
Mhm.
people coming to the
I
show,
like
and
how you did
you
a
know,
little like shimmy with that
It
too.
was like
Little
yeah,
pretense.
a
Thank
little,
you.
yes, yeah.
Was
yeah.
that a Lea original dance? Did you choreograph
There's
that?
It might be a
a
little bit.
little
Like,
shorter shimmy.
hey kids, come
That
see
with
Leila.
that that step is in one of our numbers.
Oh,
Not
I
not the
can't
way
not
wait.
that
not the way I
way.
do it.
Not
I
that
can't wait
A
for
good
that
version of
Easter
it.
egg when I see that. I was like, oh, it's the
Yeah,
Drew
you'll be like,
shimmy.
Yeah, it's the shoulder shimmy.
Yeah.
shoulder
Yeah,
shimmy is
yeah,
Yeah.
not there, but okay.
yeah. I mean, that's one thing I would say about our show. Like, we just want audiences to come to it with an open heart
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
just feel what you're gonna feel.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our advice.
Yeah.
Because every night we take this ride of the celebratory with the heartbreaking, with the joyful, with the you know, community building, the sense of community. You know, and even having watched it and created it for the last 8 years, it still moves us.
Yeah.
Yeah, each and every show. So we hope audiences feel the same way.
It's like it's the roller coaster of life, I say, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's all of it combined in a show.
So I'm curious to know too, we were manifesting a production of The Producers, and we've been
Yes.
manifesting stuff for Labelists. But are there any other like dream roles or projects or things that you guys would want to work on or do?
I mean, I think there's always different things. I mean, there's always the roles that I audition for that I'm like, oh, I wish I would have gotten that one, you
I
know.
feel
Do you
like we
have
Um,
need
one
to
though that
do
you
either My Fair Lady or Tick Tick Boom now just to make it full.
It's like
But I will say you
it's
uh,
ended up
out
doing
there.
a Jonathan Larson show, so it kind of worked out in your favor.
it did,
So,
it worked out.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, no, I think for me personally, like, you know,
Oh, I do have one actually.
the Ogie waitress role,
Oh, yeah, he's
you
always
know,
wanted to
I
do
should
that.
listen, it's going back on tour.
I know I saw Chris Fitzgerald do it, and I was like, that,
Listen, he
It
played
was it.
Patsy in the revival. Just
I
saying.
know,
I
See,
I
there
mean,
know,
it is.
they
I
All
got
know.
those
you do
connections.
they do a ton of it regionally. Just saying. You got to make
Yeah,
it
Yep.
happen.
yeah. There's that one. I'm trying to think of what other shows. I mean,
Me, I really want to direct and choreograph White Christmas. It's
Mm,
like it's so different from what we're doing right now, and
yeah.
I just think it could be done really cool in the right space. So for me, I kind of have my eyes set on something like that. I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Open to anything now.
I think for me, whatever I do next, I want to not have to be in charge. I want,
That's fair.
I
Not
want to,
me. I want to be in charge.
no,
That's fair.
I want to show up and just be able to do my job and not like have to worry about everybody else's job.
I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
I'm kind of obsessed with the idea of you as Ogie now. So I
Yeah.
really
I
want that for
know.
you because I can see that.
Call Sarah up.
Please call
Tell her
Oh
to put
Sarah.
yeah,
me in the
I'm just
next
gonna
one.
be like, hey, by the way, Drew Lachey, Ogie, make it happen. Thank you. I'll call
I
her
love
at,
So,
that.
here, let me grab her number as soon as
Yeah. Can you just make that happen?
so I did audition for it. And
yeah.
I was
It was between
I
you
was
and
down to
one
the
other
end,
person.
and they ended up going with somebody who was already in the cast, and you know, just promoted him. But I was sitting there in the finals, and Sarah Bareilles literally walks through, and I'm just
No big
like,
deal. No big
son
deal.
of a bitch. Like,
Yeah,
really?
but then you know that you're at the final.
Yeah, I know, but
But
I
listen,
texted her. I was like, well,
I will say she is working on a new musical.
just saying.
Just saying. Put
Just
that out there.
saying.
Put that out
Put
there.
that out there in the ether. I
Well,
went to
if
a gala
you gotta
last year
roll
where
for a,
she performed a song from it. So
Yeah.
she's looking for a middle-aged white guy.
You're it.
I'm one of
you're
about a
it.
million.
Listen, but again, they do the production regionally all the time, so I'm sure there's a
Right.
way that you can get to do it. Granted, it's
Yeah.
not Broadway, but it's still,
Broadway.
a production
Yeah.
of Waitress. I really
Yeah.
want this for you now. It's gonna annoy me.
Now she's like, I'm gonna get it for you.
I'm gonna make
No,
it
I'm
happen.
Yep.
It's gonna be
Yep.
on my manifestation list of Drew Lachey playing Ogie and Waitress.
I'll be the first like gray-haired Ogie, like just
Oh,
Yeah, listen, I also work in a hair salon. You can dye that. I got camo hair color. Like 15 minutes
Oh
on,
no.
wash it off, you're fine.
You're
yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
See?
I have a great.
I'm too vain and not vain enough to do all that at the same time. I'm like,
Listen, the
yeah,
guy who played Ogie in the movie did it on Broadway, and he's gray, so who cares?
that's
Right.
true.
Right.
That's true. He
Yeah,
Yeah,
did.
you're right. You're
Yeah.
yeah.
right.
So, other than anything else,
Uh, I mean, there's always new shows that are popping up.
Hmm.
The hard part is the there's not a ton of new original
mhm.
stuff getting made right now.
I know. That's a
Um,
whole other topic.
yeah. So it's like, oh, I mean, do I want to try out and go for this role that Michael J. Fox created and make iconic? It's like kind of those types of situations, which is kind of like the cycle of theater right now, which
Mhm.
is a much bigger conversation. We'll have to have a whole nother podcast about
You
that
guys
one.
can come back on whenever you want to. You have my
Just like we got
info.
stuff to talk about.
We do. We
Like we
can
gotta
do
come
like a
on.
series called the Lachey Hour on the
No.
Theater Enthusiast podcast.
Let's do it.
I'm
Yeah.
sure people are already like, will this guy ever shut up?
Listen, I'm just gonna sit here with my hot priest mug and you can just go. It's fine.
That's good. So, in
So
my mind, no,
no,
I'm not gonna do
God,
it.
don't open it up.
But I do think it's like when you find those moments that
Mhm.
are a character that is different than what you've seen before, or a moment or a song that is different that kind of hits your heart in a different way. I
Mhm.
mean, whether it's like a one of those songs from like the last 5 years, and you're like, oh my
I
God, it
know.
just
So good. So good.
breaks your heart, and then you have these moments that you're just like the celebration of whether it's and Juliet, which is just like
So fun.
kind of like a pop party.
Yeah.
There's all these moments that just kind of hit your hearts in different ways. So I mean, I'm always open to trying to find out what is the next thing that's gonna you know get me excited to go to work 8 times a week and keep doing that. Um, but I'm definitely still looking.
Yeah. What do you guys have any top going theater experiences?
Yes.
Okay, Leah.
Yeah.
I feel like
Top experience for
yeah.
me.
Hmm.
And I know people will be like, okay, yeah, way
It's
to go
your
out on
own
a limb.
personal thing. Who cares?
Hamilton for me, original cast. We had
Hmm.
house seats. We were lucky enough to get it. It was before the huge explosion.
Hmm.
Um, first of all, I was blown away on so many levels, right? The talent, the music, the choreography for me, when Andy slowed down the movement and went against what you would think you would do there, I still think about that. Like my mind in that moment, it felt like the theater just like sat still for me. And then Leslie Odom,
Hmm.
same night singing, I kept looking, and I think we talked about it on the way home. We walked to where we were staying because we like couldn't stop talking. And I said, I felt like that wasn't even real. Like what we just experienced. It was just like on a whole other level. So for me, that's like top. Cynthia Erivo, though, Color Purple. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing too.
Yeah, so mine's a little different. Mine's more like it made me kind of change my life trajectory a little bit.
Mm.
Hmm.
Um, So, out of high school, I went to the army. Out of the army, in the army, I became a medic. I came out. I was driving an ambulance. I was the furthest thing away from performing. My mom came into town, and we went and saw Miss Saigon.
Mm.
Just a normal night, normal night of Miss Saigon. And I went into that show, and it was at that moment that I was like, I really miss this part of, you know, who I am. I miss
Mm.
performing. I miss making music. I miss the stage. I miss all these things. Um, and so that moment right there opened my mind to the idea of performing again, so that when, 2 weeks later, my brother called me and said, "Hey, we're starting this music group. Would you be interested in being a part of it?" Because of
Yeah.
that show, my mind was open to being back on stage, to performing, to doing all these things again. So had I not gone and seen that show and had that moment and had that experience, who knows? I mean, I might still be driving an ambulance in New York. So I think it
To
really
think
just
your
kind of,
whole boy band career is because of theater.
It's all because of that one night.
yeah, it's that one
Listen,
moment.
Yeah.
I think you need to like tell that to your people. Like just tell the theater kids, listen, I would not have been in this boy band if it were not for Miss Saigon. Look what theater does.
Isn't that great? That is kind of great.
That's
Yeah,
Drew, I'm learning so much about you. This is very exciting.
yeah, yeah. So there's all sorts of moments. And I think the fact that, it was like army guys,
Hmm.
and I was like, I still had like my high and tight hair. Like I was, so I felt like I really connected to that show at that moment.
I
I'm gonna
also
take
I
Leah
have to chime
first.
in
What do you
because
have to say?
as I was thinking, she used to be mine, Jessie Mueller,
Mm,
waitress. First time I saw that, that was a moment where I was like,
yeah.
oh, wait, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like you're stirring up a lot of shit in me right now.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, live theater is so important. Like you were saying, it's like just go, connect. Um, it does kind of teach you so many things about yourself.
Yeah, Olivia Newton-John, Xanadu taught me a lot about myself.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yes.
We'll leave it at
Yeah,
that. We're gonna leave it just
And with that, we're going to do the inside the actor studio questions. Since
okay.
I know Drew is very excited about this. Let me
I
channel
am.
my inner Lipton.
Okay.
What is your favorite word?
Persistence.
Drew?
Silence. No, I don't know.
Literally and figuratively.
I was trying to think of something witty to say, like
Yeah, he was trying.
colostomy. I don't know.
God.
But it didn't.
It didn't go.
Everything I
It
came up
didn't
with
go.
shitty. So, no.
I will say though, it's really interesting when I do these questions with people, like how seriously they take it, how lighthearted but serious, how like funny. It's a really interesting trajectory of like how people do these questions. I enjoy it. So, all right, Drew, we can skip it. I mean, we can
Drew
just say
doesn't, I don't
colostomy,
know.
or
I'll
we can
come back.
we'll
I'll
circle
come
back.
up with one.
Okay. What is your least favorite word?
God.
So this is.
This is hard.
I have mine,
Okay.
Okay.
but it's a necessary word that I actually try and do more, and that's failure.
Hmm.
Mm.
Um, because I think failure is hugely important, especially as an artist, to try and grow, and you fail and then you pick yourself up and you learn from it and you keep going. I think it's in life in general, but the connotation of what it means, and kind of how to say that, to be called a failure is it cuts me to my kind of to my core.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it is extremely necessary and something that we should not be afraid of. So that's kind of my.
Maybe this is like a really fucked up relationship to this word, but maybe it's your least favorite and favorite word.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So now we don't have to circle back.
Oh, okay.
We figured it
I
out.
guess we're running out of time. She doesn't want to come
No,
back
no,
to
no.
it.
I can circle back.
Yeah,
I'm more than
exactly.
happy to. We'll circle back. Anyway, Leah, did you give me a least favorite
I
word
mean,
yet?
I think for me, and I mean, this is hard for me because I have moments that are just like people try to define you,
Hmm.
that really bother me.
Hmm.
But like when somebody says something like they're not talented, like untalented, that gets on my, that's like myself and people that I work with, because I'm like, who are you?
Hmm.
Like that's where I go. That's probably the thing that bothers me the most is like it everybody can have their own opinion. Like you don't get to just like
Yeah.
label or define.
I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say something like moist.
No, I was not gonna say that.
Like
We have
a friend who's like, if you say like, oh, this cake is so moist or anything, she's like, oh my
she
god, I
does
can't
not.
say that
She does
word.
not like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. She's
Well,
like, I'm gonna let that go.
yeah, we'll have her come on the podcast and do this
Yeah.
and see what
Explain.
she says. Yeah. Okay. What turns you on?
I mean, I'll talent,
Loyalty for me.
What turns you off?
dirty fingernails.
That's fair. Fair.
I mean, I could go that route too. Bad breath.
That's fair.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All fair things. Sleecher's like, okay,
It might be you.
okay, Leah, this is your moment to shine. Okay.
Oh
You
God.
ready?
No pressure. I'll sit up straight.
What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck. 100%. Just
Yeah.
people need to quit being fuck asses. I'll add two together.
So I will say, like, I say this all the time because everybody thinks like she's very like loving
No,
and
what?
no, like you are. But if her mouth if was a sailor and a trucker and they had a love child,
Yeah.
it would be her mouth and her
Yeah.
vocabulary because
Mm-hmm.
it is straight West Side Cincinnati. It is Ohio at its core.
Well, that's why I
Hey, I
said it's
know
your
what I
moment
like.
to shine. Because when I said you can curse on the podcast, and then Drew's like, she cusses like a truck driver. I was like, here it is.
Here it
It's
is.
Leah's
Yeah.
moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
It's my
fuck
moment.
ass. Adore it. Okay, Drew, do you have
Yes.
one?
Favorite curse word?
First word.
Um,
Oh God.
um, I do appreciate how the British have taken a certain word and made it just so
You can say it.
um
I'll tell you
it
what. Okay, I'll tell you what. I had somebody on the podcast a few years ago who's actually currently on Broadway right now, and they said that was their favorite curse word and they didn't want to say it. And I don't know how or why this happened. I truthfully do not remember. But at the end of the podcast, they were doing a British accent and they said the word.
Oh.
and it sounds better in a British accent.
I
I'm
mean, if
not
you
gonna
want
lie.
to do a British accent, we can
We
try
can
and
do
get
it.
you into like, again, you can practice for My Fair Lady.
I
You're
don't
up.
think this word is in My Fair Lady.
That's
Um,
true.
but you know,
But I think we know what
it,
the word is. It's Brett
We know
yes,
it
Goldstein's
is.
favorite word. There it is.
yes, and it rhymes with blunt.
There you go.
Yes, yes.
See you on that day.
Took away.
Okay. So, what sound or noise do you love?
Water, the ocean. Same.
This is gonna sound. I mean, yes, that like I have a hard time like relaxing and calming down, and like walking by the ocean and the sound of the water does that for me. But like all the sounds in the world, my favorite sound to hear is a baby laughing.
Oh, he does love
It
that.
brings me such joy
Yeah.
because it is so honest and just perfect, and there is no pretense to it whatsoever.
True.
It is the sweetest sound and is just innocence at its core.
Nice, good answer.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Leah's favorite cuss word.
Leah cussing and saying her that cuss word.
Sound I hate.
I mean, I feel bad saying this because it's so necessary, but like sirens to me, like make me, ugh, but I know they're needed.
Well,
Like for
now that you're
safety
in New
and
York for the summer, enjoy.
I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of them.
So my one of my favorite is when like somebody's cutting their food on their plate and their
Yeah,
fork slides across the top of the
yeah,
plate.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
That gets me.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's about
Yeah.
yeah.
What profession other than yours would you like to attempt?
Stripping.
Yeah, you're gonna be good at that.
You know, they had Magic Mike Live. Just
No, Drew. Oh God, don't put that out there. It's like, oh, it's so interesting. After that podcast, he just went right into the show. Um,
this is the best interview I've done in quite some time. Thank you.
All it takes is me
all it takes is Drew.
stripping.
For me, every time I'm on a film set working, I'm always so intrigued with like the art department and the props. Like for me, I mean, that would be taking on a whole new career, but
Yeah.
I just think there's something fascinating about it. That or I've already done the baking thing, clearly. A florist. I love flowers.
So I love that. Drew, are we sticking with stripping?
Drew, going once, going twice.
No,
stripper.
I'll change it.
Okay.
So
Because we can circle back to this one, like our favorite word. So I just want
no, like
Okay.
to me, emergency medicine, like driving the ambulance, that was always something. But like as I've gotten older and pediatric nursing, I think to me, like if
That's a big change,
it
buddy.
is a big change, but I love kids, I love babies, and I do think that nursing is the core of so much of what we do, the compassion it requires, all this stuff. And I'm watching The Pit, which so I'm all in my nursing fields right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably that.
What profession would you not like to do?
Be a producer.
You can play one in The Producers, starring Nathan Lane.
You can play
I want to be a producer.
I would never want to just sit behind a desk from like 9 to 5. Like that would no way, with bad fluorescent lighting and just people that are not happy. So whatever that profession is, which is probably many.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I do think like I love producing. I don't love the like the raise, like the going out and
It's not
you
fun.
know doing that part of it. I do think that being a trash collector would be not a very fun job. So that has to rank up there. Just rank
The smell
up there.
Yeah.
Get it rank.
Yeah, baracha. So before we get to the final question, Drew, do we want to circle back to what your favorite word is?
Sure. I do. This is partially because of the sound of it and also kind of the connotation. Serendipitous.
Ooh.
Love that. Okay. And as Mr.
sounds
Lipton would say, and finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well done.
Yeah, I was gonna say good job.
Yes, I love that. And he would say, here are your students, which is ironic. We have students.
Here are all you students. No, I do think like, I mean, not to sound like overly top, like, but you do start to think about that. Like, what is the impact that you're starting to leave on the world? Like,
The
what
legacy.
is it?
Yeah.
What is it? How will you be remembered? Not necessarily like in a fame sort of way, but by people that you've lived with or you've loved, and you know, how will they remember you? And I try and live my life now in a way that is, you know, taking that into account and respectful of that, you know, regardless of whether I do another thing in my life that is considered, you know, important, that, you know, I've lived my life with a humility and respect that deserves to be acknowledged, and, you know, that I made people around me feel good about who they are and loved on, and that nobody ever doubted how I feel about them.
Yeah.
You know?
That's great.
That was, sorry, that was like therapy.
I mean, yeah.
Sorry.
You're welcome. Toss.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just like, no big deal. This podcast is just like really great.
You're awesome.
All right. Well, guys,
Theater
everyone
therapist.
listening, please, I have my moments. Everyone, please go see Label-less if we want to like really get the title out there.
Yeah.
Playing at the Duke from now until August 29th. Lea and Drew, you have been such a delight to speak to. I can't wait for our new series, The Lachey Hour.
It's
Coming
coming
to the
soon.
Theater Enthusiast podcast, Cross Connection. It's going to be great.
I love
Um,
it.
anything else you want to put out there into the world before we end said podcast?
I mean, just thank you for letting us talk about something that we love
Of
so
course.
deeply and asking questions that we love to answer. I mean, 8 years, you got to really love what you're doing. So
Yeah,
to be able to talk about, all the phases, thank you for opening that up.
of
And I
course.
will say that whether people now going to Labelist to go check it out, or whether they're doing something else, we have to continue to support
Yes.
live theater and performances and new works. I know it can be challenging because of prices and
Mhm.
all that fun stuff, but it is important that we have this art form that's thriving, and it really needs the love and support, not just of theater enthusiasts, but from everybody.
Everybody.
So continue to support live theater and the arts. We're not necessarily getting the same support we have in the past, so that means it relies and falls on us to
Mhm.
continue to keep it alive and thriving. So
Yeah.
I'll see you at the theater.
Ooh,
I think we should end there. Thank you guys so much for coming on, and thank you all for listening. Go see Labeless.
Thank you,
thank
Allison.
Thank
you.
you, guys.